Matthew chapter 12, verses 15 through 21. This also we see in Luke chapter 6:11. Jesus' critics, they are filled with rage. And so this is more of a violent and desperation here that we see that we're getting introduced here in verse 14 and going into verse 15. So this violent desperation that they have. And what was it very unlawful to do, especially on the Sabbath? It was unlawful to hold a grudge. It was unlawful to be angry. It was exceptionally bad to be angry on the Sabbath. That was like, you're not supposed to. The Pharisees, we see how they increasingly want to abuse more and more of the law, and their own actions are just a revealing of their heart. In spite of the religious leaders' rejection, we see in verse 15, so what happens? The religious leaders rejected, verse 14. Verse 15, in spite of their rejection, what does Jesus do? When Jesus knew it, he withdrew from there. When we are faced with opposition, and we are faced with, I've had people before to where just talking with them, speaking with them, and I just want to rip their head off. I really do. But what should I do? When I sense and I feel that urge coming up, and many of these are just anger, right anger, angry with what you're doing, what you're saying, but what should we about? What should we do? It is not wrong to have a sense of righteous anger. It is wrong to act on your anger. So what do? We do exactly what Jesus shows. We withdraw away. We withdraw away. But does it mean that we stop doing what God has called us to do? No. Because does Jesus stop? No, he doesn't. What happens? Great multitudes followed him, and he healed them all. On what? On the Sabbath. Many times, context around does talk about, if you read all the Gospels, there are many times to where Jesus is deliberately doing things in order to point out and to show to them that they are wrong. But it's always within the context of desiring to see them to repent, desiring to see them to turn back.